Disclaimer: the following video can contain spoilers. Believing he can just acquire a new anchor being from a different universe, Deadpool does his best to save his world from being vaporized. Another installment within the Marvel Cinematic Universe during Phase 4. Must be bad, right? Well, that's the thing. I feel this movie was both good and bad for various reasons. Deadpool and Wolverine was Deadpool's and part of the X-Men's introduction into the MCU, arguably, because I'm unsure whether or not they are in the same universe as the Sacred Timeline, but that's beside the point. I'm getting ahead of myself anyways. Let's go through this movie. The movie opens up in North Dakota, as Deadpool digs up Logan's grave to discover that he truly is dead. Annoyed, he thinks about what to do when he is interrupted by the TVA. And one of the coolest openings, we get a cool scene of Deadpool defeating the TVA while Bye 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 by NSYNC plays. We are taken back in time to where it all began. An interview with Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau, back in March 2018. Wade is rejected from joining the Avengers and begins his new life as a car salesman, leaving behind the mantle of Deadpool. It wouldn't be until the TVA disrupted his birthday celebration that he is given a choice. The choice to join the Sacred Timeline at a cost. Okay, so far, so good. We do get the necessary ingredients of a good story, comedic scenes, and tone of where the movie is going, which is great. It is mainly how the movie proceeded afterwards that I kind of did not like. After the not funny remarks of Marvel Jesus, we are introduced to a new world rule known as anchor beings. An anchor being is someone who's so great to a universe that when they die, their universe dies afterwards. While it gives weight to Deadpool's actions, stakes, and arguably some comedic value to the story, I wasn't liking this new rule very well because of all the inconsistencies and problems that it brings. Sure, some come from my part and my understanding of the world and have nothing to do with the story, but I still stand on this claim. When are anchor beings set in motion? Take Logan, for example. He wasn't born or alive at the start of his world/universe, so when was it decided that he was the anchor being? And if it was decided later on, does that mean that the world does not have an anchor being until it is decided? Finding a somewhat suitable replacement, Deadpool drags the worst Wolverine back to Mr. Paradox, Matthew McFadden, who tells him he simply cannot replace an anchor being. He then sends both of them into the void. And it is in this void that the story begins to spiral downhill for me. Because in this void, nothing truly happens but a bunch of fan service disguised as a story.
Get your spectral sock out, nerds. This gonna get good.
Things don't make sense, and nothing really happens that allows Deadpool to gain a different perspective through this journey. Sure, not every movie needs it, I get it, but it does help make some sense of the journey/story. What I'm trying to say is this. When arriving at the void, Deadpool and Wolverine fight. While the fight choreography was pretty great, its main takeaway was a fight for the fans. Yes, there is a reason for it to happen, I just cannot shake the feeling that it was forced. Johnny Storm, Chris Evans, was ridiculed, which did hurt me because both X-Men and Fantastic Four were the first Marvel movies I saw, back in the day. So seeing this character be diminished to being the butt end of the jokes kind of stung me. Sabretooth's fight, though anticipated, even stated in the movie, ended within seconds. And the environment/characters brought up so many questions about these characters and their own universes and why they're in the void to begin with. But I think one of the worst things about the movie and the story within this void was the antagonistic forces. It didn't feel like either Cassandra, Emma Corrin, or Paradox brought a lot of stakes. Sure, Cassandra was going to eliminate all universes at the end, but I'll get to that shortly.
I gave you a chance at greatness because my superiors deemed you special. Clearly not special in a good way, but apparently you have some important future purpose to serve.
Cassandra's story felt weak and weird, where her goals and mindset were pretty bizarre, but worst part is I don't feel like she upped the antics, as you can say, until the last couple minutes. Yet she doesn't really achieve anything. And personally, one of my biggest gripes a movie or a story can do is when its antagonist is shown to be overpowered and they end up being defeated or dying the same way that Cassandra did, doing nothing. For example, why couldn't Cassandra just let go of this Time Ripper, fight Deadpool and Wolverine by doing the same thing she did with Johnny, and going back to destroy the whole universe? All she had to do was just do that, unless she couldn't let go. But again, it's something that seems minute, but when you think about it, it aggravates me a lot. Anyway, Paradox had flaws of his own. Being part of the TVA, sure, off grid, the whole Time Ripper felt contrived. It could be me, again, because I don't remember Loki to its full extent. I apologize. Though at the TVA, they were able to prune them quickly and efficiently. I know the movie does say that they stopped doing this and whatnot, but I thought that they pruned certain timelines because they were being altered or derailed, changing its course because of a variant or it being caused by one. So wouldn't both Deadpool and Wolverine's universe be in danger? Both these events, Wolverine leaving his universe, Deadpool using the Tempad, both ending in the void, yada yada, alert the head of the TVA, or at least cause their worlds to be in danger? Setting all these questions and inconsistencies aside, I still wasn't really enjoying the story because it felt like I was watching things unfold as they should instead of these characters navigating through the void, figuring things out, and being active. In short, what I'm trying to say is that the movie had heart and wanted to make a movie fans craved. By giving the audience fan service, I believe the story lacked as a result. A lot of people enjoyed the movie simply because it wasn't what Marvel has been pumping recently, going as far as mocking it as well. Therefore, people clung on too hard. And while it was enjoyable, and in some cases good, I still cannot fathom my disapproval with the direction of its story. Now, before you go typing away in the comments asking how I disliked the quote-unquote best movie of the year, I found it enjoyable. I didn't dislike the movie per se, I just disliked the direction the story went. The movie as a whole, arguably enjoyable, but not a very good movie in my opinion. Credit where credit is due though. It achieved what it wanted to do. Apart from being a Deadpool movie, there were so many things within this movie that people can love, such as the opening, the cameos and Easter eggs, the action, etc. It gave viewers what they have been wanting since Marvel's tragic change of direction at the start of Phase 4. But most importantly, it gave a lot of characters from previous movies some sort of closure, legacy, and or love, which I appreciated greatly. It still sucks when you think about it because their world is seemingly over, but at least there was some level of care when writing these characters. Still, however, I wouldn't go as far as to say it was the best movie of 2024, and or the best Marvel movie. The main reason I don't stand with the masses is because the movie felt more like fan service than a well-constructed story. I do understand that given Marvel's chaotic mess, it might have been hard, so I appreciate the effort. I felt it didn't do that bad given its current circumstances. The only unfortunate thing I'd say is that personally, I couldn't really seem to enjoy the movie. Some contents within the story I did enjoy, but the story overall, not quite. I didn't dislike it, like I've mentioned before, it just felt odd. Perhaps because the stakes didn't seem altogether high, even though Wade's world was about to be vaporized. Or maybe it was because I felt Cassandra's character as a villain was a bit weak. Because a lot of things that happen don't quite add up or make sense. Sure, it has comedy, sure it has thrills and action, but where it lacked was where I have issues in, story/plot. I felt the story and plot aspect to the movie wasn't as strong as it could have been. It felt that the writers put more value on fan service than an actual good story, which kind of sucks, in my opinion. Overall, Deadpool and Wolverine was a good movie in terms of action and comedy, but a bad movie with story and structure. Though it had enjoyable fight scenes, comedic moments, and a lot of Easter eggs, having a lot of inconsistencies and story flaws, I couldn't fully enjoy the movie. I still don't even know how their sacrifice, if you can even call it that, prevented Deadpool's universe from collapsing.
Do you see that? Your universe is regenerating. Whatever you did here, you not only saved your world, you spared your timeline from extinction.
I thought the whole point was that since the anchor being is dead, so will the universe. So how does their actions save it? Did Logan stay in that universe and become the new anchor being? I believe he did, but it could have been nice to get a short scene where he chooses to take up the mantle. Or at least he is given the choice to become the anchor being. So he chooses this noble act of becoming an anchor being, knowing what it means. But in the end, this movie is more for being enjoyed than it actually is at making sense, I feel. So I can't really criticize it for achieving what it was made to do. Not every movie has to be pure cinema or perfection, nor do I expect it to be. It's okay to be an enjoyable movie made for pure entertainment. But anyways, those are just my thoughts. Did you enjoy the movie? Let me know what you thought about it down below. And I'll see you in the next review. Until then, God bless.